it begins. It's a few minutes of chaos. Taking off the babies, people screaming, shouting, helping them, you know. A lot of them don't know how to swim.
What does it look like to love your enemies?
Warm clothes, something to eat, to drink, because some of them didn't have any water or food for like 1 or 2 days.
We'll take you to a Greek island to show you Israelis helping Arab refugees on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, good morning and welcome to the show. It's one of the worst humanitarian disasters in history. More than 13 million people have been displaced by the Syrian civil war, and it's resulted in one of the largest number of refugees practically in human history. These refugees have gone all over the world. The majority of them are still in Syria. Another big chunk is in Turkey. But the rest are going to Europe, going to Greece, going to the United States, trying to find a home.
Yeah, it's difficult watching their struggle. Activist and U2 frontman Bono recently recorded a video message for the congregation of Willow Creek Church, encouraging them to care and advocate for the refugees. He used the gospel to show why it's important, quoting the book of Matthew. Bono said exile was close to the heart of who Jesus was. He says, "Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Not just no room at the inn. Jesus was a displaced person. His family fleeing to Egypt for fear of the life of their firstborn child. Yep, Jesus was a refugee."
Well, Willow Creek has certainly responded to that challenge. They've held many initiatives for it. They've just had a race with 4,000 runners. They've raised millions of dollars to help these refugees, and it's amazing what they're doing. I really applaud that they're taking the initiative and they're actually doing something about it.
And because Jesus sets the standard, the bar for us, we need to visibly live and be Jesus with skin on for people who are suffering like this.
Well, George Clooney was recently quoted saying, "The simple truth is that all of us here are the result of someone else's act of kindness. We all stand on the shoulders of good people who didn't look away when we were in need. If we are to survive as a people, we simply can't look away. Not from the people of Syria or South Sudan or the Congo." And on top of that, George mentioned that his own ancestors came out of Ireland. They were fleeing the famous potato famine. They needed food. They couldn't get food in Ireland, and so they came to the United States.
Well, you know, the truth is, for most of us, our ancestors might not have come under such tragic circumstances, but I mean, unless you're a Native American Indian, all of us have relatives, near or far, who came from somewhere looking for freedom, looking for a fresh start, new beginning, opportunity. And so he's right
And
about
I love
that.
tracing that back, at least in my own history, my family line, tracing that back and seeing, well, what did they do? Were there any records of them? What was the reason? And how well did they do?
Well, your people came in times of turmoil, did they not?
Varying times of turmoil. My ancestors primarily are Scottish, some English, some Irish, but primarily Scottish. And it was during some of the wars between Great Britain, what became Great Britain, and Ireland. Some of my ancestors were part of the English army. Yeah. And then at the end of those conflicts, now what do we do? And they decided to come to the United States.
Well, another Hollywood star, she's known for this, who's been outspoken and continues her humanitarian efforts abroad, is Angelina Jolie Pitt. And we have seen her take time to visit, to speak on behalf of, for many, many years. And now she's been visiting, literally visiting the refugee camps, talking with families there. She's met with prospective prime ministers in both Turkey and Greece, talking about this influx of refugees, how it's affecting their nation. This isn't a one-sided issue. You know, when you have millions of people descend upon you, I mean, there are some issues for you as well. So we have a responsibility to those who are in need and coming, but we also have a responsibility to do it and get it right.
Well, I think Europe is learning that they're a whole lot of issues here.
Yes.
And one of those issues, and it's becoming more and more important, is how do we provide security for our own people? And you're hearing a nickname for the refugees where they're calling them refugees because of the incredible rise in incidents of attacks on women as a result of these bands of Muslim men who are now within their country borders. And so that's the reason we're seeing more and more in Europe. They're trying to erect fences. They're saying no more. We can't handle the ones that we currently have. And so the outlet for all of this now seems to be Greece. Turkey is saying, we've got 4.5 million, we've got enough. And so they're leaving on these makeshift boats to try to get somewhere. And they're going into Greece. This is a significant problem. This isn't a little one. This isn't one where you say, okay, how can Christians get together and do something? How can governments get together and do something? Because the numbers are simply overwhelming.
They are.
And within, we're hearing that there are ISIS terrorists that have been planted within the group.
If you took that terrorism element out, if that didn't exist, if the timing was different, I think that people would have come together more swiftly and more positively. They certainly opened the doors without realizing the numbers that were coming behind that first load that came in. But I think once the issues started to present within their cities, within their villages, then I think everybody started seeing that all was not well.
Well, I think we didn't understand the height of the war and just how intense the fighting was. A city called Aleppo has gotten famous as a result of the destruction that has happened there. And that was a center of Christianity in Syria, and now it's been completely destroyed. So I think in trying to downplay how effective ISIS is, along with that was downplayed the pending humanitarian crisis. And we just haven't mobilized to meet. 12 million people is a lot of people.
You try to put yourself, though, in the place of these moms and dads or even young children who left fast and left without much and now are sleeping on the sides of roads and in town squares with not only not a roof over their head, but no bathroom facilities, no way to earn a living and feed your family. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. If I lived in Syria, I'd be on the move.
Yeah, I would be. I would
There's
be
no
out
question.
now.
I would have been out a long time ago. And now, what do I do?
Yes.
And when you're a refugee, that becomes very difficult. That's not something easy. Number one, how do you get a job?
Yes.
How do you get the papers to say you can legally be employed? And then just the basic necessities that your family needs. Water, food, shelter. Where is that coming from? And if we don't provide, there is going to be an even greater crisis happening in these camps, these sort of makeshift places where people are being herded. They're not going, I don't think they're going there voluntarily. And what do we do about it? How do we do it? Well, every day, boatloads of refugees arrive on the shores of Greece, hoping to find a new start in Europe. And here's a little insight into their story. The Greek island of Lesbos, a quiet vacation spot where tourists relax and local children play in peace. But on the other side of the island, a very different scene is unfolding. Every day, thousands of refugees arrive on this shore. Most are fleeing the Syrian civil war, hoping to resettle in Europe.
We see babies which are only a few days old people at the age of 90, 95 even. And we get mainly people from Syria, also from Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran.
Waiting to help them on the beaches of Greece are the last people the Syrians might expect. Volunteers from Israel. The IsraAid team is a mix of doctors and nurses, both Arab and Jewish.
What we do is go to Hind Point with binoculars, searching and scanning the water, and you start looking for this black with orange dots in the view. And then it comes nearer and you start seeing the rubber boat and all the people on it. It's like 1, 2, 3, it begins. It's a few minutes of chaos. Taking off the babies, people screaming, shouting, helping them, you know. A lot of them don't know how to swim, they're afraid from the water.
After that, we start giving them food and water, warm clothes, something to eat, to drink, because some of them didn't have any water or food for like 1 or 2 days.
To see a 60-year-old Arab man burst into tears on the shore, something that you don't see every day. So being able to give a hand, give a hug, give water, medical treatment, yeah, it's a privilege.
In my country, in Syria, it's coming very hard and there's no future for anyone. Yesterday, I have coming here with a plastic boat. I will say that they are amazing people, and I'm really thanks everyone working with these people. They are really helping us and helping a lot of families here and children.
Because we come from a country that a lot of people suffer trauma because of the conflict and what's happening, so we have a lot of experience how to deal with trauma, how to deal with the conflict. And this is a knowledge that we need to pass to other people, to other countries, if we can help make their suffering less, or to help support them, or to show them a different way. And I think this is our duty.
These people come and they automatically get this title. They are refugees fleeing to Europe. But at the end of the day, they're just humans, they're families. They had honorable jobs, fulfilling life in the countries that they're coming from. And suddenly they come here and they're treated and looked as refugees when they're human beings as me and you. And for me, when I meet those people, this is what I'm trying to give them, that feeling that I respect them, I feel them, I connect to them in the most human level. I'm not above them, we're same, it's just now they're on that side of the coin. Tomorrow it might be me and I will need their help.
Well, we have a lot to learn from the Israelis in how to do this. This was IsraAid, and there's some significant things here. One, Syria technically is still at war with Israel, and they have been enemies for decades, and ever since the creation of Israel in 1948. So you look at that, and here they are saying, okay, we're going to help them, and we're going to do it very tangibly. We're going to meet them at their exact point of need and give them help and assistance. At the same time, Israel is saying, well, we're not going to open our borders, which is an interesting contrast to say we value the safety of our people, and us as a people, we want to help you, and we want to help you through this refugee crisis. But at the same time, they're saying no to admission. So it's an interesting contrast. Well, Pope Francis has also weighed in on this. He made a visit to the heart of Europe's migrant crisis, took in 12 Muslim refugees from Syria, including 6 children, and he took them with him back to Rome. And I think that's wonderful. And here's his comment. We have come to call the attention of the world to this grave humanitarian crisis and to plead for its resolution. As people of faith, we wish to join our voices to speak out on your behalf. We hope that the world will heed these scenes of tragic and indeed desperate need and respond in a way worthy of our common humanity. And I think one of the best ways to stop this crisis is to stop the fighting in Syria. That's a complicated way to do it, but I don't see any resolution to an ongoing crisis until the bombs, the mortars, the gunfire stops, in Syria, and people can have, once again, a peaceful way and a peaceful place to live.
Well, the Pope set a great example, I think, by showing up, using the position that he has to speak humanity into all of us, and then taking people with him and providing personally. You know, National Refugee Sunday is coming up. It's June the 26th, and it's an opportunity for Christians to encourage their congregations to support these families. You can join churches all across the country and take an offering to support these displaced families, and then to stop and pray for them. If you'd like to learn more, all you have to do is go to wewelcomerefugees.com. We asked our viewers what they might think about this refugee crisis. I want to share what some of them had to say. Linda says this: as Christians, I believe we should help those who are hurting and oppressed. I think helping refugees is a great way to share the love of Christ with people who might not be believers. And then Dan says, charity starts at home. We have many people homeless in the United States. Why not help them first? Marilyn says, what if one or some of those people turn to Christianity due to coming here to live and then spread Jesus to their family and friends? I know we have a lot of our own people to help, but what if? Well, we want to hear what you think. If you'd like to share your thoughts, go to our Facebook page and you'll see a pin at the top of the page with a question on the refugee crisis. Leave your comments there. We'd like to hear from you on this issue and just kind of find out what everybody's thinking about it.
Well, coming up, see how Operation Blessing and viewers like you are bringing light into the dark refugee camps. Don't want to miss it. It's coming up next.
Operation Blessing is in Greece, where Syrian refugees continue to land on the shores every day. One thing the people lack there is a consistent source of light. Take a look.
We're currently at the Indomini border, which is the border of Macedonia and northern Greece. And there's about 20,000 refugees here stuck. They're on their way to Germany, and all the borders are closed, so there's nowhere to go, there's no solutions right now. This is a smaller camp of 2,000. It's called the Eco Camp. It's at a petrol station. So tonight we're going to distribute solar lights, because they've been begging us for lights all over Greece, and Operation Blessing has been helping fund them. And here are the little solar lights. They're amazing little lights. Origami, fold down and recharge in the sun. 3 levels. Just pull out, PET recyclable, waterproof, and they last about 12 hours at night. So these are real game changers. They also give light on the outside, but they give a real hope on the inside, and little kids aren't scared and they get excited, and some of the refugees start singing, and so they're really valuable. It's the number one thing that's needed here. Most of the refugees camps are so dark. So this is the solar puff light, and we thank Operation Blessing for funding these.
You know, that's something you don't think about. You see people that are in tents, you think, well, at least there's a roof over their head. They must be finding food somewhere, but you don't think about the lack of light and what that would do. Think about that in your life, how that would change things up. And especially when you've got small children, you're trying to get kids to bed, and in the winter, it gets dark pretty early. So we're trying to get these lights to all the refugees, and you can be a part of helping in that. Early in our program, you heard from a viewer who was concerned with the homelessness here in the United States. Well, CBN and Operation Blessing have both national and international projects, and you can be a part of them both. It's just 65 cents a day, $20 a month to be a 700 Club member. You can give specifically to this need if the refugees are your concern. The way to do that is to call 888-777-1999, or you can log on to 700clubinteractive.com. When you join the 700 Club and you commit to that monthly gift of $20 a month, we want to send you a thank you for caring about other people. This is Pat's latest DVD called Heaven, What God Has Prepared for Those Who Love Him. You're going to love it. It will be a blessing to you. We have some amazing testimonies on here of people who, for various reasons, died, visited heaven, and then were brought back to life, and they share their stories of life after death. We want you to have this. So join the 700 Club today, and we'll send this out to you right away. Again, it's 1-888-777-1999. Gordon?
Well, still ahead, his dad worked for John Dillinger, and this mobster followed in his footsteps.
I was learning not only to steal and lie, But I was also learning that the only way I could be accepted was by doing things. If I did things, I'd be accepted.
See how he finally found true love and acceptance when we come back. Jim Hall made millions of dollars working for the mob. He learned his trade from one of the best, his own father. Jim might have passed the family business on to the next generation. Instead, he was busted by the FBI.
My early childhood was happy. Everything was like the American dream.
All of that changed when Jim was 7 years old, and he discovered the true identity of his father.
I saw all these police cars and everything around my household. Find out that the police were there, the FBI were there, looking for an escaped prisoner, somebody who had escaped from a Missouri State Prison a number of years before, and found out it was my dad.
A pastry chef by day, a mobster by night. But now he was a fugitive. He came back home a few weeks later only to leave again. But this time he took the whole family with him.
Once he came back, we was being on the run. We would go and move a lot, change identities, had all sorts of names.
Nearly 7 years on the run, Jim learned a lifestyle of deceit and robbery from his father.
I always remember my fondest Christmas memory of being with my dad was when we would go out and steal a Christmas tree every year. So I was learning to not only to steal and lie, but I was also learning that the only way I could be accepted was by doing things. If I did things, I'd be accepted.
Living that life finally caught up with his dad. He had a racket giving safe combinations to the legendary gangster, John Dillinger. Eventually, the FBI figured it out. Dillinger got away, but Jim's father was busted and sentenced to 25 years. As Jim got older, he tried to live on the up and up, even trying Catholic school. But like his father, Jim started working with the mob. He was soon making millions, but he felt restless and discontent.
I was void of everything. So you're trying to fill up. And you think the lifestyle, the money, the success, that's going to fill it up.
Then he met Judy. They got married in 1982. Judy had 3 daughters from a previous marriage, so at home, he was a family man. And away from the family, the mob business was getting dangerous.
Get a phone call from my Baltimore office and saying, the FBI has just raided us.
Jim's attorney explained the situation to him.
There's going to be an indictment going down, and it was going to be for racketeering. And racketeering is very serious. It had minimum sentences that were very high. Also, it takes all your money, everything away. So I'm going, I don't think I like this. But I wasn't about to give up. And so they offered me a opportunity to turn like state witness.
Jim refused at first, but when he learned his business partner planned on killing the judge, he knew it was time to get out. He took a deal, pled guilty to fraud, and got 3.5 years. One night in his cell, he picked up a copy of the only book allowed at Eglin Federal Prison Camp, a Bible.
Here I am, laying in the bed, on top of my bed, reading a Bible for the first time in my life. And the words came alive. And just as the lights go like this, just at that moment, I read, and I set the prisoners free. And I realized that I've been in prison all my life. I just didn't know it. And I hugged that Bible, and I wept. And then I heard, to me it was audible. It was as audible as speaking to anybody right now. I heard, Jim, I am your father. And I love you so much, I gave you my son. It was amazing. He said, all you have to do is come to me. And and I came.
While Jim was in prison, Judy had recommitted her life to Christ. She began attending church, and the entire congregation started praying for Jim. He was released from prison in 1983.
There was a church waiting for me, ready for me, and wanted me to be involved in it.
Jim got involved immediately, and he and Judy were baptized together that same year. Jim worked 15 years with Walk Through the Bible Ministries, and today he's a business consultant and offers hope to others by sharing his dramatic story.
If you got an emptiness inside, that's because God put it there. And that emptiness is the desire for Him.
That emptiness comes from Him. That's what Solomon said. He's put eternity in your heart. And it only gets filled when you have that relationship with Him, when you have the Eternal One living in you. One of the great mysteries is that Christ can be in you, the hope of glory. What God said to Jim, I am your Father, He wants to say to you. There aren't any cousins or grandchildren in the kingdom of God. They're just children. We all have Him as our Father. And that's why Jesus taught us to pray that way. If you're far away from God, if you're wondering, does He still love me? Does He still care for me? The answer to all that is yes. And to reconnect with Him, all you have to do is open your heart and pray. Very simple prayer. God, if you're there, if you're real, if you really love me, could you show up? Could you show up for me? And if you pray that with all of your heart, you'll find Him. That's the promise in the Bible. If you want to help with that prayer, we're here for you. All you have to do is pick up the phone, 888-777-1999. We leave you this word from Matthew, for I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home.